as a woman, when I am feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, disappointed in the relationship, I don't want to be touched. I don't want intimacy. Whereas with men, sometimes, and from my experience, their act or their love language, so to speak, is to touch. And so their way to try to fix that relationship is to try to be intimate. And as a woman, I'm completely repulsed by it when my needs are not being met emotionally. So if your physical needs are not being met, it's because my emotional needs are not being met.
That's an issue. That's a huge issue.
These are the tricks that women use when they want to withhold sex.
As a woman, when I am feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, disappointed in the relationship, I don't want to be touched. I don't want intimacy when my needs are not being met emotionally.
All of that is bullshit, okay? What is the meaning of the word emotional problems? What are you disappointed at? Are you disappointed at the fact that you settled for him? Are you thinking about your previous boyfriends? Are you disappointed that he's not the best, he's not your first choice? He's not the best you settled for?
She's disrespectful and mean to you because she married you for stability and you are not the man of her dreams. Let me cook for a second. She's disrespectful. She's mean to you. She's not freaky with you. She doesn't appreciate you because she married you for stability. You were the safe option. You do not turn her on mentally, physically. You do not stimulate her in any way. Honestly, her stomach turns at the thought of you touching her, but she knows if she doesn't give it to you every once in the blue moon, maybe you'll get fed up and leave. She's not happy. That's why you're not happy. There's no pleasure there. There's no happiness there. There's no love there. It's just stability there. And she's selfish. She's not going to leave you because she's not foolish. She doesn't want anybody else to have you. She's not going to let anybody else get the man that can pay all of her bills, love all of her children, but she does not want to really be there. So she's playing along to get along. If you are a man right now, when you are paying all of the bills and you got to beg for sex, you got to beg for head, you got to beg for attention, you got to beg for affection, it's a good chance that you are the stability guy. You are not the satisfaction guy.
But it causes relationships to grow apart because now the man feels rejected because he's not getting his physical touch from a woman, and the woman feels repulsed because her emotional needs are not being met. And that's a real conversation that a lot of people try to skirt around.
In the initial stages of the relationship, you guys were having a lot of sex. You were trying to bait him into getting married to you. So you wanted him to get married to you. So you gave him a lot of sex. At that time, you didn't have emotional problems. At that time, you were not overwhelmed. You were not frustrated. You were not disappointed. You used sex to lock him down. So now the guy goes and then he gets married to you, thinking that he's gonna keep having this type of sex, regular sex with you in the marriage. Now that you know that you've locked him down, now that you know that he has gotten married to you, now that you know that he has had several kids with you, now that you know that he cannot go anywhere, you start talking about emotional problems. You start talking about overwhelm, disappointment, and all of that. That is weird, okay? And that is wicked, because why didn't you think about all of these things before the marriage? Because he would have known that when you are overwhelmed, when you are disappointed, when you are frustrated, you don't give sex. You don't want to have sex. You don't want to be touched. He would have known this, and he would have said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get married to this woman because my life is going to be miserable. But you didn't show that side of you because you were doing the bait and switch. You baited him for him to get married to you, and then now you've switched. You are withholding sex. It's not good. It's not good.
The secret we never wanted revealed as women is that as women, we have a switch, like a light switch with sex, and it is either off or it is on. And we all know we have this switch and that we have the capacity and the choice to turn it on and off when we want to. And as women, when we were single, we had the switch on for bad boys, and we had the switch off for good men until we were ready to settle down and get married and start a family. And so good men can know if you struggled to get women, if you didn't have a lot of women until you met your wife, it's because she had her switched off. And then when she was ready to settle down, she turned it on, and she used the on switch with sex to trap you to get what she wanted, which was to get married. And so when we're ready to get married, our biological clock is ticking. We get a good man and we enjoy sex. We want to have plenty of sex. And then we get what we want. We get married and the sex stops. And the sex becomes unimportant. And like I said, it becomes infrequent. And all of a sudden, the amount of sex you were having before you got married begins to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Because it was a trap. It was a trap to get what we wanted.
Women will have sex with their man because they feel obligated, because if I don't have sex with him, he's
He
going
gonna
to cheat
drift
on me
off.
and be with another woman. But that man needs to have the same conversation and like, my woman's backing off from intimacy because I'm not meeting her emotional needs. And by the way, another man will come around and meet those emotional needs. When we're drifting apart, somebody else can fulfill those needs, whether it's physically or emotionally. And that's a problem. And so
Now, remember she said she has emotional needs that needs to be met. And if the husband doesn't meet her emotional needs, she's going to go get someone else to help her meet those needs.
as a woman, when I am feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, disappointed in the relationship, I don't want to be touched. I don't want intimacy.
We got what we wanted. We turned the switch off. So good men, don't be fooled by the bad advice out there that there's something you're doing wrong and that this is your fault. And there's something that you need to be doing differently to turn her switch back on. No, because her switch was on when you met and you were still the same good man. So this is, in a good way, this is your wife's problem to solve. And women, we need to know this is our problem to solve. And that's the sad reality of sex with your wife, is that she used sex to get married. And once she trapped you, there was no reason for sex anymore. The sad fact is that a good man, or after a woman marries a good man, all he's good for is being a sperm donor and for financial security and all the facade of being into you, of being passionate about you, of loving you and can't wait to get together to be with you. That facade drops because we got what we wanted. And for most of us as women, when we become disinterested in sex and we stop having sex, we will hold on enough to string you along. So that's where we'll have sex once a month or twice a month, and we'll string you along for that financial security and or for having children. And that was sadly my experience, that when my husband and I met, sex was great. I had plenty of it. I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. We had fun together. And then once I knew I had him, the switch turned off. I put walls up. I didn't want to get undressed around him anymore. If he came in and he tried to hug me, I would jerk away. And I had all kinds of stories built up about why I was doing this. I denied to myself the real reasons why, which is what most of us as women do. And there was nothing he was going to be able to do to turn that switch back on.
If I feel like if a man really loves and cares about his woman and she's kind of losing her interest in him sexually, he should tap in and see what he's not doing for her emotionally.
Guys, when a woman starts saying things like this, it's because she knows that you cannot go out there and cheat on her, because she's baiting you. She's probably baiting you for you to divorce her, so that in the event of a divorce, she's gonna get away financially rewarded. She's baiting you to divorce her so that she can take half of your property, half of your finances.
That in the majority of heterosexual marriages, the man brings protection and providing, and the woman brings kindness, warmth, and care, right? And sex. That's the economy. That's the economy. I didn't make that up. Don't get fucking mad at me in the comments. I didn't make it up. It was here before me. It's going to be here after me. I promise, right? So that's the game. That's the economy. his roles, his obligations are enforceable by law. So state power can be used to enforce his obligations, not hers. The court cannot order her to be nice to him or to him or to stay pretty or to stay sweet and friendly to him and kind to him or speak nicely of him or raise the children in a meaningful way that, creates value to him instead of teaching them to disrespect him, right? But his promises in that, shelter, food, financial obligations, court can force you to do that. And if you don't do it, they can put you in jail or they can take away your driver's license, your professional licenses. So what is that? When you have a contract where only one side is enforceable by law under penalty of law, like that is a dangerous game to play if you're a man, period.
And guys, if you're in this kind of relationship, I think your best option is to leave. If you can leave, just leave. But women do these kind of things when they know that it's hard for the man to leave. Maybe they already have children together. Maybe they have a business together. Maybe they have a lot of things going on together, and she knows that she has locked this man down. And for most men, they don't want to leave because they know that in the event of a divorce, they're going to be wiped out financially. So when the woman knows that, they're going to start playing games like this because they know that you cannot go out there and leave and go to another woman. They know. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.